Hi, I'm Wilson Cruz, and this is my audition story for Star Trek Discovery. I have to preface all of this by saying I knew a lot about this series because it came out in the trades pretty early that Paramount Plus or CBS All Access at the time was going to do. It was even before CBS All Access. I think it was like CBS in general was going to bring Star Trek back to TV, and that Brian Fuller was attached to create it. And so I had just worked with Brian a couple years before, maybe more, on the series finale of Pushing Daisies. And I know, I still cry. So I played a part that was crazy. That couldn't be further away from Star Trek Discovery. But the episode was also written by Aaron Harberts and Gretchen Berg. I sent Brian, a little DM on the Twitter saying, hey, how are you? By the way, great article in Variety or Hollywood Reporter, or whatever it was, about Star Trek, about the new Star Trek series. By the way, huge fan, would love to be a part of it. Shoot your shot, I say. So he writes me back. He was like, Wilson, would be great to see you in a Starfleet uniform. Little did I know it was gonna be stark white and Spanx. Anyway, cut to like a year, maybe 2 years later, Brian has left the series, like he's helped develop it, but he's moved on to something else and handed over the reins over to his two writers, Aaron Harberts and Gretchen Berg. I have put it out of my mind, and my phone rings. I actually, not that I completely put it out of my mind, I knew that they were auditioning people. I knew that Anthony Rapp was up for the gay role. And so I was like, well, I guess, that's the way that they're going. They announced Anthony. I was like, okay, fine, moving on. A week, I call Anthony up. I'm like, congratulations, baby. I love you so much. I can't wait to watch. I'm a big Trekker. I will be there watching. He's like, I love you so much, because we love each other. And like a week later, my phone rings, and it's my agent and my manager saying, there's gonna be two gay guys, and they're in a relationship, and we didn't know this before, but now you've been offered this part. I, of course, lose my mind. I call up everybody I know, my parents, my brother, who's my best friend. I am celebrating. I think we got drunk that night. Cut to the next day. My phone rings. Hey, so they love you. They might have jumped the gun a little. Aaron and Gretchen want you for this part, but the studio, I gotta remember the word. There was a specific word that I wasn't formidable. That the studio was worried that I wasn't formidable enough for the role. And so that they wanted to see me read. So I was like, so they were like, it's not necessarily an offer, but it is, they just want to make sure. So they send me these sides. I go in, I meet up with Orly, the casting director, and Aaron and Gretchen, and we just go into a room, and they literally set up like an old school video camera, and we just run through this scene. And they're like, yeah, just, give them what they want. We'll deal with, we'll create this character with you, but just, be formidable. Whatever that means, right? It was the very first scene that we see Dr. Culber in. Wasn't the very first scene I shot, by the way. It was the very first scene we see him in, when it's a scene with Jason Isaacs and Anthony Rapp, and Anthony's nose has been broken, and I'm fixing it with my hookah-diddle, whatever. I'm sure there's a very technical Star Trek name for it. I can't think of it right now. So anyway, we do the whole thing. I go home, they're happy. A day goes by. A couple days go by. A week goes by. My brother is now visiting from New York, because I'm living in LA at the time. And, you know, I'm assuming it's just not happening, that I'm apparently not formidable enough. And we go out on the town and, you know, I drown my sorrows. And we're home one afternoon, you know, he's getting, it's the end of his trip. I think it's been over a week now since the read, yeah. And my agent and manager are like, we don't know, you know, we haven't heard yes, we haven't heard no. So my phone rings, we're getting ready to take him to the airport, and my agent and my manager call and are like, apparently you're formidable enough. And my brother and I completely lose our minds. And I call up Anthony and I tell him, and he's relieved. I wish I could say that this is like, you know, something different but honestly, like, this is the story of my career. Like, oh yeah, Wilson Cruz, that's a great idea. Let's put him on tape first. I don't know. I think people have, you know, maybe Ricky Vasquez in the back of their heads, and they're like, well, we know he can dance. But I have to say that the thing about it is that I think this was the role that allowed me to grow up a bit, right? Between this and 13 Reasons Why, I think that was the moment where people were like, oh, he's not 16, 19 anymore. And I understood. I you know, in the end, when I look back at it in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I get it. If I was the studio and they're looking at my career, you know, maybe they do want some proof. But in the end, I have to say, Dr. Culber was more than just a little bit formidable. He was a bit of a badass. So that was my audition story. Be sure to catch Star Trek Discovery on Paramount Plus every Thursday for new episodes.